Hello, welcome to you all. In this session, we are going to explore about the unit testing. So, unit testing is a very important software testing we perform in software engineering. So, let's move on towards today's agenda. So, today's agenda include about what is unit testing, and we have the levels of software testing. We have the unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. So let's explore about the levels of software testing. So levels of software testing means that we perform the software on different levels. So first the unit testing is performed, then the integration testing is performed, then the system testing is performed, and after that we have the acceptance testing in perform. And that is why after the acceptance testing, the software or the product installed on the user environment. So when we want to a successful launch or successful product development or to deliver to the customer, so these are the levels of testing are performed, in which we have the unit testing and start from the unit testing and end with the acceptance testing. So let's explore about what is unit testing and what are the different levels of software testing we have. So we have the unit testing. So unit testing is a type of software testing in which a single component of software are tested. So or we easily say the subsystem are tested. Unit testing is done on the developer side. So when the developer developing the system, they just first of all develop a simple system or the subsystem or the part of the system. So when the developer tests uh, the simple or the single unit of the software test there, so then their testing is called unit testing. Unit testing means the single component of software is tested by the developer, so we call them the unit testing. So unit testing measure the whole performance of the each of the component of software. So as we know that software are made uh, or the combination of different components. So when the single component of software testing, then we call them unit testing. For example, we have the simple example of unit testing. We have the calculator. So in calculator we have the arithmetic operation and scientific operations. In arithmetic operation we have the addition and subtraction, and scientific operation we have the tangent and the different sine cosine values calculation. So if we consider the addition, so when we check the addition, that whether the calculator perform the addition or add the values or not. So when the single component addition is checked, then we call them unit testing. So unit testing check the single component of software. In this example we check the addition, so we also check in the subtraction, we have the tangent arithmetic operation. So when a single component of software is checked, we call them unit testing is performed. In this example we can perform unit testing on addition and we check the addition of a calculator. So we have the integration testing. Integration testing is a type of testing in which we perform the testing on the multiple modules, or when the multiple modules are tested, then we call the integration testing. Integration testing is based on unit testing. This is because when we perform a unit testing, we test the single modules, while in integration testing we combine the unit tested modules. So integration tested depend upon the unit testing. When the unit testing is performed properly, then the integration testing will also gives us the positive results. So in integration testing we check the functionality of subsystem combination. So integration testing is performed when the components are combined and the functionality of more than one component are checked. So we call them the integration testing. So integration testing are also depend upon the unit test. When the modules are checked singly, then the functionality will be up to 70-80% correct. For example, we have the same example we have taken in the case of unit testing. We have the arithmetic operation testing. In arithmetic operation testing, we have the addition and subtraction. So when we perform the unit testing on addition, and we can perform the unit testing on subtraction. So when the subtraction and addition are the functionality is positive or correct, so in the arithmetic operation result will be also positive. So in integration testing, we check the whole functionality of this arithmetic operation, in which we include the addition and subtraction. So when the unit testing is performed properly, then the integration testing will gives us positive result. In this case, we are testing the arithmetic operation. So it is when the more than two components are testing, then we call them integration testing. So we have the system testing. System testing is conducted on complete integrated system to evaluate the system compliance with its specific requirements. So when the whole system is tested, then this called system testings. For example, if we consider this example in which the arithmetic operation and scientific operation, the whole operation are tested, then we call this testing is called system testing. So in system testing, we take the system, we gives the input and of to the all integrated component, and we check the output whether they gives us the output or not. So system testing is performed on the entire system in the context of either functional requirement specifications, or FRS, or system requirement specification, or the both. So in system testing, we perform the functional and non-functional requirements. So that is why system testing is the testing of the whole product, and it depend upon the unit testing and the integration testing. So as we discussed earlier, that these are the levels of software testing. When the unit testing is performed properly, then the integration testing will result gives us positive result. When the integration testing is performed properly, then it will help us in system testing. So that is why these are the different levels of software testing. So a system testing is not only test the design, but also the behavior, even the believed expectation from of the customer are tested. So in system testing, we check the whole requirements, whether the system meet the requirements of a customer or not. So that is why when the whole system is testing, then it called system testing. Or we can say when the integrated component are tested, then we call them the system testing. So that is why these are the different levels of system testing or software testing. We can easily, we have the acceptance testing is the test conduct to determine if the requirements of a specification of contract are met. So user acceptance testing consists of process of verifying the solution of works for the user. So acceptance testing is when we just move towards the last levels of software testing, that is called acceptance testing. Acceptance testing means we give the product to the customer, and we install in their environment, and we check the whole requirements of the customer. So that is why in acceptance testing, the user or the stakeholder or the customer accept the systems. So an acceptance testing is the last level of software testing. So when we perform the unit testing properly, then we perform the integration testing properly, and then we perform the system testing properly. So the acceptance testing will be also uh, result are positive. So that is why acceptance testing are testing the requirements of the customer are checked, or whether the software met with the user requirements or not. So that is why this is the last levels of software testing. So if we consider this example in which we have the acceptance testing, so acceptance testing means that we have the student management system. We call the students, the parents, the teachers, and attendants. So acceptance testing mean that the system will work, and if we consider the system, so the system will work that it will gives us the attendance, it will guide and register the teachers and the students and the parent and information about them. So that is why when these functionality are provided to the user, so that we call them acceptance testing. In acceptance testing we check the single functionality of the system, so that is why these are the expected user requirements. So in system testing we check the user expected requirements from the product. So it is a very short session about the levels of software testing. So levels of software testing are very important. So software are tested on different levels and check the whole from the single component towards the whole product testing. So it's enough for today and see you in the next session. Thank you.